natural-looking mold of consort hairspray for men with the
In the year 2005, twin nuclear attacks devastate El Paso and Abilene, Texas, setting off a national crisis and ushering in World War III. The war made America lose access to oil, so the nation started looking for other energy sources. 3 years later, as the 2008 presidential election loomed,
they built this great big machine.
Neo-Marxists rose to power, and for the first time, Republicans raced to secure California, a state that would decide the 2008 election. On June 27, 2008,
someone had gotten under his skin.
Boxer Santaros, a famous actor with ties to the Republican Party, vanished without a trace. 3 days later, he was discovered in the Nevada desert, with his memories erased. The government knew Boxer had crossed his way back into Cali, but they didn't know the circumstances behind his return. In Los Angeles, Pilot Abilene, an Iraq war veteran,
Bear record of the word of God and of the test.
Reads a Bible before continuing his surveillance on the beach area. Pilot says he'll talk about Boxer and the path he didn't take, noting that the world will end in a bang. A militarized surveillance state, U.S. Ident, rises in response to the war chaos. It was the brainchild of the Republican Party, led by Bobby Frost and Nana Mae Frost. They established a new facility called UPU-5 in Southland to sanitize information. Boxer awakens on Santa Monica Beach with amnesia. He's entangled in an affair with Krysta Now, an ex-corn star turned reality TV personality. And together they wrote a screenplay that foretold the tale of the world's destruction.
The machine was running out of gas.
Meanwhile, tanks and war machines run out of fuel,
Arrived in the Southland with a
which would put America at a huge disadvantage in the international chaos. Amidst the downward slope of production, a renegade scientist arrived in the Southland and built a great machine in the ocean.
The tidal generator would create an energy field
capable of generating a hydroelectric energy field called fluid karma. It is a wireless network of electric power
that would run machines by remote.
That runs machines remotely, and machines would never have to be refueled.
Kaboom never scrub?
One time, Fortunio watches the news and laughs while watching Krista's show.
That is the primary reason why I won't do anal.
She shows up seconds later and tells him that deep down, everyone wants to be a corn star. Boxer shows up and accuses her of lying, but she tells him to trust her, and she's trying to protect him from people who want to destroy him. Later that day, Krysta had a lunch meeting with adult film director Cindy. Krysta reveals that she added the Now surname
TV show, Now?
after her 6 movies as a marketing strategy.
Myself from the 76 other Kristys in the business.
To have people pull up to her as soon as possible.
Wow.
Cindy praises Krista's ambition
Pop album, jewelry.
after going through her project lists, and Krysta reveals she's been sleeping with Boxer. She asks Cindy not to tell anyone.
Nana Mae Frost.
Meanwhile, Nana, Santaro's mother-in-law, searches thoroughly for his whereabouts.
This footage was taken by his abductor, someone with ties.
And finds footage taken by someone with ties to the neo-Marxist movement. She forwards it to Bobby.
What do we got here?
And they analyze the explosion in the footage. One of Bobby's men informs him that Barron has retrieved the charred remains of a body, but hasn't been able to identify it. Somewhere else, along Venice Beach, some followers of the neo-Marxist movement track Boxer's location to Fortunio and Krista's place.
Boxer hasn't talked to his wife in a week.
They marvel at the fact that Boxer hasn't contacted his wife
Nobody
and
knows
her family.
where he's been.
Too bad it's an election year.
And his decision with Krysta can affect the outcome of the upcoming election.
Zora Carmichael's.
Later in a truck, Zora purchases a gun
Got a $500 minimum.
and tries to pay with a check, but the gun owner refuses and insults her.
Say it again. Say it again.
So she humbles him and walks out of the vehicle. After, she goes to her hideout to meet her fellow neo-Marxists
They called him Roland Taverner.
and have Ronald impersonate a cop, whom they refer to as his twin brother, who worked under USID Ent. Ronald goes to Fortunio's place and learns that Boxer wants to make a movie based on the script he and Krysta came up with.
That the apocalyptic crime rate
In Boxer's script,
of
the
the Earth
world
is
slows
slowing
down per hour, and it's causing an imbalance in the chemicals in the brain,
that the apocalyptic crime rate is
which leads to very irrational criminal behavior. When Ronald asks Boxer how they can stop the apocalypse, Boxer
Only
tells
God.
him only God can.
Said God is dead.
And the New York Times has claimed God is dead. Boxer calls his character's name Jericho Kane. Ronald agrees with him and hands Boxer a bulletproof vest before they head out to begin filming. On the way, Boxer asks Ronald what it's like being a cop,
We're just looking out for the niggers.
and he learns that cops are just looking out for gingers. Boxer repeats what Ronald said, unaware that he's been recorded,
So what does your wife think about your new girlfriend?
and Ronald asks him about his wife. Confused, Boxer tells him he doesn't have a wife
I could have sworn that you were married to the daughter of a Texan.
and refuses
No, I'm
to
not.
believe he's married
But
to
what
the
you're talking about,
presidential
I don't know who he
candidate's
is.
daughter. Back at the neo-Marxist residence,
Work as a
Ken,
mole
their mole who
inside
works for the
US
USIdent, makes a big
Misfortune to
mistake
trust
by
his
entrusting
colleague.
Starla, his colleague, with his computer. On the other hand, Bobby gets footage of Boxer kissing Krysta,
And she's
and the
got
neo-Marxists
Boxer Santaros
try to
on
blackmail
tape.
him into paying $1 million in cash, but Bobby tells them to F off. Left with no choice, they move their plan to the next phase,
Proposition
69. Shortly, all over the news, influencers speak out that they are against Bobby's campaign and would like the rest of the citizens to vote no. While the phase was in the works, Dion and Dream organized a wedding where they planned to fake their murder, so they put on a disguise.
Starla had downloaded a copy of
Meanwhile, Starla tracks Ken's location and finds their hideout where Ronald's twin is held captive.
Told you I tried the goddamn.
Ken tries multiple times to break into the USIdent server, but the password doesn't work. Out of frustration,
That will work.
he insults Nana May, who has been listening to their conversation. She immediately orders some armed men to take Ken down, along with the rest of them in the building. Shortly, the police break into the building, and with Nana's permission, they take down everyone on site. During the incident, Ronald's twin wakes up, so Ken releases him and tells him to escape. The ops finally get to the main room, and they shoot Ken, but the twin has made his way outside and does a leap of faith into a garbage bin. Ronald, on the other hand, converses with Boxer and learns that they are similar to other people around them.
that keeps them glued together.
Suddenly, two men call Ronald's attention and inform him privately who Boxer is. Boxer, on the other hand, sees Serpentine and follows her into a bookstore, and he sees her with two old ladies who recite the lines from his script.
We have read your screenplay.
He quickly grabs the boom from one of them and wonders how they got their hands on it. Rather than answering his question, they tell him that the events in his script will come to pass. Meanwhile, in USIdent, Starla becomes obsessed with Boxer
LAX.
after reading a copy of his script, which she downloaded from Krysta's website and has assumed the role of Dr. Muriel Fox, a character from the book.
Do you copy?
Go ahead.
Later that day, Zora commences her plan by calling
Copy
Ronald and having him head to the interracial couple.
How? You're gonna be dead!
Dion and Dream start quarreling as planned. On the way, they come across another officer who immediately recognizes Boxer, so he insists on joining them for their mission. They head to the venue, and to everyone's surprise, the backup cop shoots the couple, escalating from the pre-planned fake murder to a real double homicide.
This is my deal now.
The backup police then orders the men to scram, so they run out for their lives. After Boxer has been separated from Ronald, Starla calls him pretending to be doctor. Muriel informs him that his hypothesis is correct.
Where's it?
She gives a number to dial to get more information, stating that he's been watched. After the call, Boxer calls the number. Walter, who's currently attending one of Baron Vaughn's events, picks up the call and immediately tells Boxer to head to where they can pick him up.
Cantina. It's a restaurant.
Cantina?
He then informs Bobby of Boxer's location, so they send their men to pick him up.
What do you mean he's unavailable?
Unfortunately for the neo-Marxists, they lose track of Boxer, their leverage needed to blackmail Bobby. That evening, Ronald informs Zora that Dion and Dream are dead, but she insists that they are not.
We doubled up on the squibs.
Ronald then suspects she's been lying to him all along. While they argue, Bing, Zora's assistant, notices Ronald's identity crisis.
I think I'm gonna rollerblade on home now, because...
So he excuses himself and leaves the vehicle. As soon as he leaves,
9-1.
Zora tases Ronald and pushes him out of the car. She then drives the vehicle and uses it to knock Bing out like a deer on a highway.
They will reign forever.
At night, Ronald's twin gets out of the trash bin and runs to an RV owner, asking for his phone to make a call.
Local call.
The man hands him the phone, but notices he's Roland,
Officer Roland Taverner.
so he tases him and carries him into his RV. Later that night, one of Walter's men takes Boxer into the residence, and as soon as Boxer's wife sees him, she asks him if he has amnesia.
You're my wife.
But he successfully identifies her as his wife. Later, Bart returns with a tape and offers it to Zora. He then requests to make a movie rather than watch one. Meanwhile, Krysta arrives at the Frost residence.
Oh, I can't wait to meet her.
And Madeline belittles and insults her for snatching her husband. But once she learns that Krysta has photos with Boxer,
You have to give the bitch whatever she wants.
Madeline
Daddy,
asks
you have to
Bobby
give
to
her
pay
whatever
her
she
off
wants.
before she uses them to ruin his election.
This is extortion, Sweetikins.
Still, Bobby maintains his stance, stating that he won't bargain with criminals. Everyone in the room advises Bobby to pay up,
That I am pregnant with your child.
and Madeline then reveals she's pregnant with Boxer's child. Immediately, tension fills the air, so Walter goes back on track by asking Krysta who put her up to the whole act. To their surprise, Krysta points to Baron and reveals that he paid her to get Boxer out of the desert.
No.
Is this true?
Baron
Who you
immediately
gonna trust,
defends
Bob?
himself and
A
asks
Nobel
whose
Prize
words
winning
they'd rather
scientist?
pick based on status.
Baron would not sabotage the...
But just as everyone in the room picks Baron, Madeline informs them that Baron has been trying to sabotage the campaign and has been secretly funding the neo-Marxists.
How dare you?
Baron immediately gets mad at her and defends himself.
You are pregnant with brats, baby!
He then informs them that he's aware that the child in her womb isn't hers, but Brant's, some random assistant in the room. The judgmental eyes shift from Baron to Madeline, and before anyone can raise questions, Baron's mom informs him that Mr. Takahashi, representing the Japanese government, wants to see him. They dismiss the meeting. And before Krysta leaves, she tells Boxer she loves him, while referring to him as Jericho Kane. After she leaves, Starla calls him and tells him to go to Santa Monica. There, he'll find what he's looking for. Confused, Boxer wonders what he's to do.
Shadows.
But one of the old ladies who read his work shows up and recites some verses from the script before telling him to go. So he gets into a vehicle and drives to Santa Monica.
Who controlled the patent for the high...
Takahashi meets with Baron and has agreed to lose one of his fingers for full access to fluid karma. But Serpentine, Baron's assistant, cuts Takahashi's wrist off.
And it was my job to train him.
Somewhere else, Pilot sells fluid karma to Martin, a recruit, who happens to be the son of his plastic surgeon. Pilot tries one out before giving it to the recruit. He passes out and then enters a trance where he sings with a lot of women dancing around him. Somewhere outside, Ronald wakes up and starts searching about. The following day, Krysta visits Zora to score some drugs, but she sees Boxer's tape, so she steals it.
Hey, over here.
She informs her friend that she'd like to post it publicly and won't want it to be traced back to her.
www.usideath.
So her friend tells her about a site with the domain name USIDeath. Meanwhile, in a nearby car, Martin tries to unalive himself. But Ronald stops him and asks for his help in finding his twin. At that same time, one of the neo-Marxists, Cindy, meets with Walter at a restaurant, and she hands him a flash, which has incriminating photos that can sabotage Bobby's campaign. Curious about her blackmail records,
Raiding my neighbor's house.
he learns that she sleeps very well, despite her bad way of life.
I know your real name.
He then threatens her by informing her that he knows her real name, so she shocks him with a taser to his jewels, and also reveals that she has more incriminating evidence with her that'll cost him more than $1 million.
That little bitch, she stole it.
What?
Later, Zora realizes that she has lost the tape, and she calls Cindy to tell her that Krysta has stolen it, but to her surprise,
Gotta go prank Tom with it.
Cindy feels indifferent and continues celebrating her win against USIDent. Boxer later shows up at the beach, and Starla checks him out. At the same time, Pilot, who's on the lookout, sees him.
Jericho Kane!
But Starla calls out to Boxer and tells him that there's a body hidden in Baron's secret chamber, which was recovered from his car in the desert. Starla then pulls out a gun to kill herself.
Take him off!
If he doesn't let her nibble his carrot. Pilot sees her gun and shoots her before she can pull the trigger. Immediately, everyone deserts the beach after hearing the gunshot. During that time frame, Nana tracks Krysta and her girls, and also Zora and Bart. Krysta goes to Dump Deck to have the tape publicized, but Zora and Bart see her and chase after them. Luckily for Krysta, people get in the couple's way, and she successfully leaves the bar. Frustrated, the couple brings out their guns to scare away the folks obstructing them, but a soldier immediately shoots them down. Nana May laughs at the outcome and watches the whole tantrum happening at the beach. Boxer, on the other hand, calls Fortunia and goes to see him, but he learns a little too late that Fortunia is under Baron's payroll. Immediately, they ambush him and drag him away. Cindy, on the other hand, obtained a ticket to the launch of Jerry von Westphalen. Later that night, Ronald learns that Martin wanted to kill himself because he got drafted, so he relates to him and explains how he tried crossing the Mexico border after leaving Iraq. When Boxer wakes up, he sees Madeline in his room, and she tells him he spoke a sentence while asleep. After hearing her out, he concludes that tonight will be when everything will end. Somewhere else in Baron's building, Baron hands Krysta some amount of cash for her job well done.
Tell the shadows and the light.
Back to Madeline, she learns that one of Boxer's tattoos means the end of all suffering. She starts kissing him, and they make out for a while. Cindy, on the other hand, phones Simon, one of Baron's assistants, who is in charge of the USIDeath domain, and asks how long it would take USIDent to route in and interrupt the broadcast, but the man tells her not to worry and enjoy the rest of the party. Minutes later, the Dion and Dream murder footage airs online. Inside Baron's building, a lot of people gather at the launch of Jerry von Westphalen, and Serpentine informs Baron that Boxer has arrived.
The secret you are looking for is hidden in the...
Immediately, he calls for Boxer, but before Boxer leaves, Madeline worriedly tells him of her dream where he died, but he kisses her and tells her he won't die. After that, Boxer takes an elevator, and on his way, he opens a closet and pulls out a gun before continuing to one of the highest levels. As soon as he gets out, he points his gun at Simon, but Simon orders him to put it down.
They're trying to rig the election.
Meanwhile, Nana continues her surveillance, and she informs Bobby that the neo-Marxists are trying to rig the election. After the call, Dennis, her assistant, shows up and wants some action, but she tells him it's a bad time. Walter and Bobby's assistant tells Bobby to get Nana out of the U.S. Ident building because the neo-Marxists have infiltrated the place, but he refuses.
The project was called...
During that same time, Boxer learns from Simon that the Earth's slow rotation opened a rift, and they experimented by throwing monkeys in it.
Rift in the fourth dimension.
Boxer catches on with the conversation and learns that Baron had him go into the rift because he is a celebrity and has political ties. He also learns that he traveled back in time, and his future and past selves confronted each other. After learning that he is his future self,
This body, this artifact.
Boxer goes to a box and sees the corpse of his past self. He finds it hard to believe that he would commit suicide. After all, pimps don't kill themselves. Still, the men emphasize not knowing what would happen if the two versions of Boxer come in contact with each other. Coincidentally, Ronald sees a syringe of fluid karma and tries it, and instantly, a letter from Pilot flashes into his mind. His body starts reacting, and he can tell where his twin is, so he directs Martin to go downtown and find an ice cream truck.
Amnesia has been linked to the...
They drive to an ATM, and Martin goes there to empty his account for his New Mexico getaway plan, but the machine denies his card, so Ronald tells them to pull out the machine. They use a hook and remove the entire machine, dragging it along with them. At the same time, Baron opens the event with a songstress singing the American anthem. Minutes later, Boxer walks up to Serpentine and asks her to tell him who drove him into the rift, and she tells him it was Ronald. He urges her and confirms his suspicion
by remote
that the SUV, which went through the time rift, had a time bomb, which means his last self didn't kill himself.
Pimps don't commit suicide.
She tells him that pimps don't die, and affirms his guess about Ronald and his twin being the same person. She asks him what would happen if the two Ronalds touch each other.
The fourth dimension will collapse upon it.
And he tells her the fourth dimension would collapse on itself. He then kisses her and shoves her aside.
Who am I?
Ronald, on the other hand, wakes up in the ice cream truck with his hands bound together. Suddenly, Martin's vehicle collides with the ice cream truck, and the truck falls. Meanwhile, Boxer looks at the news report and immediately concludes that the tower they are in will soon be destroyed, so he tells Bobby and the rest to evacuate, but they do not understand him. Outside, beneath the tower, Roland gets out of the truck with a gun and starts firing it at the police, who have been tasked to curb the neo-Marxists. The police retaliate, and Roland gets shot in the eye. The other Roland and Martin run to him. Martin meets with the ice cream truck driver, and the man hands him a bazooka, telling him he cannot miss. The Rolands then shake each other, and their hands get stuck, and the vehicle starts floating, due to the past and the future coming in contact with each other. At the same time in the tower, Krysta and her friends dance to entertain the guests, and while at it, the neo-Marxists break into the U.S. Ident building and kill the workers, including Nana May. Boxer joins Krysta and dances with her, jealous. Madeline joins them, and the three of them dance together. He then excuses himself and fires a gun into the air, interrupting the party
Evacuate the atrium!
And yelling at everyone to evacuate to the base of the tower. Baron tries to dismiss his threat, but Boxer points the gun at his head and vows to kill himself if they don't do as he instructed. Meanwhile, the ice cream truck floats to the very top of the tower, and the injured Ronald points a gun at his head and tells the other to let him go, or he'll kill himself. Baron tries to convince Boxer not to kill himself, and even reveals himself to be a neo-Marxist, but by that time, it's already too late. Boxer hears the last lines of his script being announced on the speaker, and he stretches his hand as he accepts what's to come. As for Martin, he takes out the bazooka and shoots the airship before falling off the vehicle. Immediately, a strange light emanates from the city, and everyone rejoices at what's to come. Roland, on the other hand, doesn't let go, and he smiles at his other self, knowing fully well that pimps don't commit suicide. The end. Thank you for sticking to the end of my video. Please do me the biggest favor by leaving a like, comment, and subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next video.